Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reed's Reads. Of course, I'm your host, Ryan Reed, creator and webmaster of Comics Havoc. Well, I'm here, not just wearing the Spider-Man shirt, but I'm not here to review not one, not two, not even three, but four superior or superior-related titles. That's right, related. I'm actually going to be talking about the Avengers here in a moment. But first, let's get on off right over to bat to, of course, Superior Spider-Man 15 of Run Goblin Rum. Anyhow, let's get right into the pros. First of all, actually, believe it or not, I think this is actually one of the more stronger story ports of what's been going on in Superior. This is actually more of Dan Slott kind of wrapping up stuff from early days from Big Time and everything with Phil Urich as the Hobgoblin. I actually kind of like the fact that they've actually kind of showed how much Phil has kind of fallen on his own sword after all this time here about how reasons why he became the Hobgoblin, and now it's all coming to backfire on him and everything. I mean, the whole point was him being brought back as the Green, as the Hobgoblin was the fact that, not only has Phil's sanity lost it, but the fact he was supposed to be the anti-Peter Parker, and now that's all happened. And actually, the parts of the story actually are very, very, very enjoyable, especially when it comes to Ty Stone here. I actually like the fact of what's actually happened to him and how he's trying to get back at the Hobgoblin after, Phil kind of let him have it during the era of Big Time and everything else now. So I do like that aspect, and the story's actually not too bad at all and everything. I think the best part, of course, is actually with Otto actually starting to realize that being Spider-Man is just not easy. Being Peter Parker is really hard to be when you got all these responsibilities, all these family members and everything. But that leads me right into the cons here. I mean, as much as I love everything with Anna McConey as everything and all that, constantly, well, I don't know if Spider-Man or Peter is saying who he is. He must be like this person. But nah, that can't be. It's old. We get it. Would we just get to the point? I know they're trying to reestablish with Captain Wannabe getting the Wraith back in and everything with Carly Cooper, but enough's enough. Same thing's going on with the Green Goblin plot line. Okay, now they're keeping his face hidden and everything. Can we just move on? I mean, there's point of spoiling things too early, and then there's dragging and dragging and dragging. I mean, they're kind of talking about the original kind of points to the original Green Goblin and Hobgoblin storyline. Well, even they knew that they couldn't drag it out forever, and I'm hoping, just like here with Phil comfortably getting taken care of, I don't want to magically be proven like, no, I'm not really the Hobgoblin, everybody, even though he has no money income, and the real Hobgoblin, Roger Kingsley, is ready to cut him off and give it to somebody new. So I'm going to actually give this a B-. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I know this is only a little storyline, but I love the character bits, especially what's kind of with some subplots coming up, especially with Otto with grad school and everything. He kind of makes nice with his old teacher, which actually I think worked pretty well here as a really being Dr. Octopus related. But let's move on to that. Let's now, of course, get into Superior Carnage number 2, Wizard's Bigaloo. I know I mispronounced that. I did it on purpose. Anywhoozy. Basically, the pros for this issue is actually, first of all, the artwork, as well as the getting into the mind of the Wizard and why he's actually decided to recruit Carnage and why he wants to kind of make the superior Carnage and everything. Actually explains greatly to Bentley, to Whitney. I mean, one thing that's always been great about the Wizard, why I've always liked him, how much he was the anti-Reed Richards. I mean, as much as he wanted to be smart and egotistical, similar to Doctor Doom, he was more about destruction rather than creation. He wanted the world to bow down to his feet because he was so smart and so amazing. And here he's kind of showing how he's starting to lose his mind and he doesn't want to go out that way. And Carnage Symbiont is actually a way to not only repair him, but also kind of get him back on top where he was in the last couple years, especially with the Inaglacia and everything else, and also what was going on in Jonathan Hickman's run. Artwork's great, and I thought the point with Claude and why he's been loyal to the Wizard all these years actually is well hit home and everything, as well as what the surprising cliffhanger actually is of who is supposed to be the new Carnage. But that kind of leads to the cons. I don't think there was ever anything wrong with Cassidy as Carnage. I mean, that's what was so amazing about the character, was the fact that it was more of the character of Cassidy who was Carnage more than the Symbiont. Symbiont was an enabler of him, considering all this power, because he was, Clueless Cassidy was a psychopath. That was the point of the character. And after they lobotomized him in the Minimum Carnage crossover, it really was not really a smart idea. It just wasn't. But however, with Dr. Typler being made as the new Superior Carnage, which is my spoiler in here, everything else, it definitely leaves me to really be interested to see where the series can go, especially in the last couple parts. But unfortunately, like I said, it feels more to still prelude, even though it's well showcased on both the Wizard and Claw, so I'm going to give it a C+. It actually was a good, enjoyable series, but I think this will work better in collection in the long run, but we'll talk about that in the next couple issues. And now, on that note, let's get off to one of my favorite sleeper hits titles, which is Superior Foes of Spider-Man #2. Right here, where we actually get finding out about how Boomerang actually is keeping the team together and everything, and hugely to the pros. This is just fantastic. Fred Myers as the lead antagonist for Superior Foes is just a brilliant move by Nick Spencer, and it's just so enjoyable. I mean, some of his thought balloons, especially when he's talking about how much he hates his lawyer and when he has to go through his just laugh out loud moments. Everything with how the Chameleon's kind of the unofficial member of the Sinister Six, even though Dormammu is kind of supposedly the new one as the joke, but still, I really like the fact that Shocker, as much as they've been doing this for last issue, thinking he's become this loser more than ever, is they actually having him know the secret and everything actually leads to some wonderful character. But I also like the fact they've actually getting more into the new Beetle and even to Overdrive. And a lot of people are kind of against Overdrive, but I think this is finally showcasing exactly who the character is, why he's a collector, and everything else. I'm looking forward to his full origin, which I know is coming up soon, so I really enjoy that. For the cons for this issue, not too many. I extremely enjoy the issue, and actually, the amazing cliffhanger ending that Abe Jenkins, the original Beetle, and Fred Meyer's old Sinister Syndicate man, versus his new superpower parole officer, was a great thing. And he's Mach 7. What happened to Mach 6 armor? And why is he wearing armor that looks exactly like the Mach 4 armor minus the 1-4 Roman numeral? Even Nick's, and it's so funny too, because I asked online why that it was on a Twitter feed, and I got a whole response. Well, Ryan, why not? Well, the point of the armors is they need to look different, even if they don't do much. Even though all the Iron Man armors over the years, they had a different design to them. Either way, B+, still enjoyable. I can't wait to see issue 3. And now for my #4 title. That's right, we're heading off to Jonathan Hickman's Avengers with the conclusion to Infinity Prelude. I really enjoyed the Prelude, especially what they're doing with the builders, as well as now how they've built up the Avengers team now with the new Universal characters with Night Mask and everybody and everything going on right now. It's Starbrand and now Ex-Nino and Abyss joining the group and getting into Infinity, because it's had me excited. I like how Jonathan Hickman's actually hit a couple of points with Otto Octavius' Spider-Man, actually showing the whole arrogance as well as the moments here why he thinks he's a little better than all of them, and then of course New Captain Newsman is kind of smacking him down in the storyline. Artwork's good, but I see how Jonathan Hickman said he wasn't going to really relate too much to it, and as we know, Mighty Avengers, which comes out next month, will deal more with the Avengers side of Otto Octavius as Spider-Man more than Jonathan Hickman's run is. But I think it actually works pretty well, but I've been loving the Avengers. I really recommend picking it up, because I think it's probably one of the best it's been in quite a number of years, so I'm going to give it an A-. There's still some moments. I know this is a prelude moment, and I want to get to the point a little bit into Infinity, but otherwise, it's pretty good. So with all that, everybody, there are my grades for the titles. I am going to get out of here, and I'll see you guys next time for Superior Spider-Man Team Up #2. And the little guys call me. Gotta go. Bye.